Let's clear the cobwebs out of my voice here. So I've been gone for a while. I have not uploaded for probably over a month at this point. So I am just kind of rambling here just to get started, but um these are eyeshadow palettes that I purchased on January 1st this year, and they are so far the only new product I have purchased since December. And I'm kind of going into this new year with a different mentality on the things that I am going to be purchasing and covering and using. Um, these particular ones did catch my eye, and so I decided to pull the trigger and go ahead and buy them. But just know going forward, I'm not going to have a whole lot of brand new product content coming out. I'm just not really feeling it at the moment. So let's get into what these are. These are the Sephora Mini Mix and Mega Mix palettes. There are 4 larger palettes. The larger ones are the Mega Mix palettes, and there are 6 Mini Mix palettes, which are just the little trio eyeshadows. Here's one of the Mega Mix palettes. It's the Rebellious Rosy Nudes palette. It is a set of 3 trios included in one larger palette. The palette is held closed with this elastic band. It's supposed to be designed to be a little bit more like sustainable, environmentally friendly, so they didn't include any magnets in this packaging. You can remove each trio from the Mega Mix palettes. It just slides out and it has this little notch on the back. And you will see there's holes on the back of this section. You can't really push the eyeshadows through because they are glued in. But if you were okay with potentially destroying the cardboard packaging and you just wanted those pans, you could push them through, but they just don't pop out very easily. I think what that was included in there for is if you wanted to recycle the cardboard portion and the metal portion of the pan separately, then you could recycle it that way. Um, it would have been nice, in my opinion, if they, I don't know, like had not glued the pans in somehow. I don't know how they would have secured them in place, but it's nice that the holes are there, but it isn't as like, it isn't what I was hoping it was going to be. And it might not be what you guys are hoping it is. To put that section back in, you just slide it right back in place, and you can rearrange the trios from different palettes with each other, or you can buy the individual trios and then put those into the Mega Mix palettes. So you have a lot of flexibility in how you arrange the colors if you buy multiples, which is kind of a cool thought. I have noticed in some of the comments on the Sephora reviews that people were a little bit like they wanted to be able to arrange the colors in singles and not in trios, because sometimes you don't necessarily want a to be stuck with a set of 3. You may just want one single color. But it does offer you a little bit more flexibility than just having a palette that is completely set that you can't rearrange. So now I'm just going to show you swatches of each one individually, and I'll kind of do a quick description of all the shades that are in each palette. This one is the Wild Khaki Nude. It is kind of like a warmer brown palette with like a touch of green in the middle there, but it's mostly like a warm brown palette. This first shade is like a creamy matte. It is not a true powder matte. That second one's a sparkly shimmer. The third one is a true powder matte. This fourth one is like a glitter. Fifth one is a sparkly shimmer. The next one, this black one, is like a creamy matte. This one is a true powder matte. This one is like a standard shimmer, and then another true powder matte. So here's what those shades look like up close. Next up is the Rebellious Rosy Nude Palette. This one is like a rosy, mauvey kind of color story. Good if you like cooler tones that are like slightly more pink. This first shade is a creamy powder matte. Second is a sparkly shimmer. Next one is a true powder matte. This one took a lot of layers to build up and it got a little bit of hard pan. Um, and it was also hard to build up on the eye when I used it. Next one is a matte with very fine sparkles. So this shade, it comes off as matte once you use it on the eye. The sparkles dust away, but I find that the sparkles seem to affect how well the shade blends. So I would have preferred if they didn't put sparkles in there at all. This one is like a standard shimmer. This one is a pressed glitter. It does adhere by itself. This one is a sparkling shimmer, a true powder matte, and another sparkling shimmer. Out of all of the ones that I have, this is one of the palettes that I like the best. I just personally just appeals to me the most, and I like the range of color choices. Next up is the Fiery Warm Nude palette. This one has pretty much all of the textures that I've mentioned so far. And this first one is a creamy powder matte, or just a creamy matte. This one is a regular shimmer. This one is a true powder matte. This one is a matte with fine sparkles in it. This one is a sparkling shimmer, maybe closer to like a standard shimmer. This one is like a flaky, glittery shimmer, a true powder matte, another kind of flaky, glittery shimmer, and then a sparkling shimmer. Last of the large palettes is the Fearless Cool Nude palette. This one is one of the ones that most appealed to me when I was deciding on whether to purchase one or multiples. So first up is a creamy powder matte. Next is a sparkling shimmer. Next is another sparkling shimmer with a little less sparkle in it. This one is a flaky, glittery kind of shimmer. Another sparkling shimmer. This one is like a lots of sparkles in a matte base. And then we have a true powder matte. Another sparkling shimmer. And finally a true powder matte. So all in all, there's a lot of sparkle across all of the palettes. So if you are somebody that likes more of a fine shimmer, this may not be the best collection for you. So this first trio is the Beyond Brown trio. And this first shade is like almost like a glitter. It reminds me of the e.l.f. Fine as Fleck eyeshadows. It's not much of a base color and mostly glitter. And then there is a true powder matte and a like a regular shimmer, lots of pigment, very deep. Next up is the Ethereal Lilac Mini Mix palette. This is like a set of three topper shades, I would say. So first is a true glitter. It's got like large flaky particles as well as like regular glitter in it, and it does adhere by itself. Next one is like a sparkling shimmer, and then another sparkling shimmer. I really like this trio. I think it's really pretty as like a complement to other stuff I have in my collection. Next is Peach Power. So that has another glitter in the left side and a matte with sparkle on the right. This is another pressed glitter. It has a lot of particles in it, so I'm able to apply it heavily. Then there's a true powder matte and a matte with fine sparkle in it. And if you notice when I was swatching this one, how I got that chunk that fell down on the table, that's what I mean with the sparkle that's in these types of shades. They seem to kind of loosen the way the powder is pressed, or like it doesn't hold itself together very well. So it swatches difficult. It doesn't apply as well. Um, so it looks really pretty in the pan. It photographs well. It makes it attractive, but it makes it harder to use also. This one is Boss Berry, and it has like a reddish tone, and then it's complemented with some like rosy shimmer and a pop of blue-green. This one is a regular shimmer, a true powder matte, and a sparkling shimmer. It's kind of like a topper with a strong base color. Next is Daring Blue Dusk. So this has like a kind of a greenish brown base, like greenish brown like anchor, and then it's got like silver and blue touches to go with it. So that first one is a sparkling shimmer, a true powder matte, and then another like it's like a sparkling shimmer but with a lot of matte base. So it's like a balance of matte and shimmer in that last shade. And then last is Grunge Green. This one is not, there's not a whole lot of green. So the middle shade is green, but it's very dark, so it doesn't really look that green. This first shade is a pressed glitter. Next is a matte with sparkle. And finally a true powder matte. So that's going to do it for all the swatches. I have been kind of playing with these, doing some looks. I'm not completely done trying all of them yet, and I don't have my thoughts fully formed on what I think of the quality in general. Um, as I've been moving along through the palettes that I have used, I'm not as excited about this collection as I was when I first bought it, just because of some of the textures that are included. I didn't think that there were going to be textures that were kind of difficult. There's also a lot of sparkle in this collection. And personally, I'm getting kind of like moving away from sparkle. I like shimmer, but I kind of prefer it to be fine shimmer at this point. Um, just because sparkle is pretty messy. It's a lot of cleanup. Um, and the mats are in general pretty decent so far that I've tried, but there are a handful of mats that have been like less than impressive for me. So I'm still gonna keep on playing with these and doing some looks, and then I will share those looks with you later on once I feel like I'm done trying them and I feel comfortable with my opinion. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you are interested and you were curious just to see what these look like in more detail, that's mainly what this video was here to give you. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.